Hi, for the next few minutes, we're going to take a quick look at the new front-end speech workflow at WebChartMD. I've logged into my test account as one of our WebChartMD providers, and you'll notice that here in the folder pane to the left, I now have a new folder called Draft. Now, this is a folder that you as the transcription partner can enable for your clinicians, for your dictators. So it's not there by default, and there's a click now, a button in your settings window where you can make that setting change. I'll show you that in a second. But I'll click on my draft folder. And this is the same draft folder now where your accounts can upload their patient lists, but it's also the folder where dictators can go in to create front-end speech recognized notes. And let me show you how it works. So I'm in, as I mentioned, as a provider. In this case, I'm our test account, Dr. Arnold. I've got a new button in my toolbar. So when I press that new button, a case info box pops up. I've got the ability to enter demographics in manually or search the database if I want. When I do, I'll pick out my client and then I'll select my report type. So I'm going to dictate a CT scan, for example, and I choose my status. So this is where the provider has the opportunity of routing the work, the drafts back to you for you to proof and then submit to them. And so I'll set it for draft. There are a couple of other options. They can send the note directly to their inbox or to their final folder, which we don't anticipate necessarily being an option they'll use, but we present it in the box. So here's my draft note, and I'll click Open Document. When I do, what you'll notice here in a second is that the provider's CT scan template is going to pop on screen with these demographics loaded in. So I'll click my Open Document, and my template populates with the demographics. And now as a provider, I'm ready to go into speech rec mode. So as you might notice up here in my toolbar, I've got my dragon running. I'm going to click my microphone and begin my dictation. And at this point, the provider does what he or she would normally do. As you'll notice here, my text is populating out. I'll move to another section and populate that information. Period. Okay, I've turned my mic off, and now I'm completed with my note. I'll just come up and hit my X and save my note. And when I do, and I'll refresh my screen, you'll notice here that the Polly-Lori document has now saved in my draft folder as a provider. More importantly, though, for you in the workflow, it's saved in your draft folder as well. So I'm going to log out of the provider, and I'm going to log in as the transcription company owner or the representative who's got access to the draft folder. And here, as you can see under my documents, you now have a draft folder as well. And here's Polly-Lori. So when I double click that row to open it, that particular note will open up for me in Word. And there it is with all of the provider's content in it. And at that point, I'm able to go in and do whatever edits I need to the note, save and close it. And after I've done that review for the provider, I just come up and submit. And when I press submit, just like it does in the QA workflow, it leaves your draft folder and it moves into the provider's inbox. And there it is. So our hope with this workflow is that providers who perhaps are using Dragon but not necessarily pleased or comfortable with the quality of the work coming out of Dragon, and so that they would like you to be able to do a QA review on it, they now have a workflow that's a whole lot easier for them to use. And our hope and expectation is that you will be able to pick up some additional work from those front-end speech recognized users so that you can add that to your workflow. If you'd like to see a demo in person, either for yourself and your team or for your providers, let us know. Contact me. This is Mark Christensen at the information on screen. Thanks so much.